This is the Astronaut Nature, a podcast dedicated to indulge something really weird and not necessarily other than pretentious, but at the same time, funny, but not all the time, and complex in its simplicity, full of those grandiose words that actually mean the humble attempt of sounding sciencey like, and plus speaking of a possible element of more unnecessary confusion. There's an accent in the way I express verbally my second language because it is my second language. So all the confessions have been made, and this is the episode number 10 of this series of installments where I allow myself to share what I think and feel after my own knowledge derived from personal experiences and the fact that I am part of this playground that we call human life, human race, planet Earth, whatever is the concept or combinations of terms when referring to what we are, what we do, and our general ignorance about pretty much everything. There's a high level of curiosity that sometimes starts as a very primitive type of manifestation. It is the moment when a point of consciousness, according to my experience, is ready to know more. It knows that there has to be more and is asking for more somehow. Sometimes that first step in something that can be really good turns into that moment when we allow ourselves to consider things like conspiracy theories and whatever else. If not put to the test, if it's not a flexible thing that can turn into a really interesting first step into a lot of new knowledge and maybe new horizon of possibilities to accumulate more understanding of things that before were not considered, it could turn into lunacy, could turn into madness, into a long-term nonsensical season for the mind and everything else. Because if we are not willing to see if we have found something that can be proved wrong or right, and we just stick to it, we always find a way to justify our need for believing in that one thing, when in reality it is just a symptom of the capability of knowing more. When you survive that first step, you can move to other areas way more interesting and way more gratifying. We have things like the idea of humanity living in a computer-generated playground. Okay, what difference does it make? Let's say we can consider that idea. What difference does it make? It is all about the perception. You perceive this or you perceive something else. You can remember a vivid dream and you can say that it was only a dream, but you were the one perceiving that, and it could have had an emotional impact in your experience. I'm sure it did, and it will also accumulate with the rest of your history as a sensitive being. And yes, it could and it will modify subtle little layers of your intellect and other zones of your consciousness. You will not be the same after decoding whatever data you were exposed to in any kind of interaction with perception. Sure, it was only a dream, but you were attending the content of that dream. It's the continuation in the line of your perceptual existence. That moment, you were in that dream, you were nowhere else, and you were there with your entire consciousness. Someone with me, his name is Pablo, and he is an engineer and interpreter. He he was doing a lot of translations of Japanese, English, Japanese, Spanish. So communication is the thing that we have in common, because I also enjoy exploring communication. And he knows what I've been doing lately in order to fish for different perspectives around the subject that has to do with life, has to do with aging, has to do with all that, right? The thing that I want to ask you is, what detail you can remember right now?
That we don't know, but we don't bring anything with us to this world, so everything we learn here is because it's already in the universe and we just learn it. That's an interesting topic.
Okay, and about the question that I already spread, what would be your answer if you have the alternative of replenishing? There's not the same understanding when it comes to that question. Some people think that replenishing means literally a reset or something like that, and it's not. It's a filter, and just sticking to the things that you have learned that you really like and letting go of the rest. What would your answer? Would you be interested in continuing and showing to yourself and to the world what is the best thing that you have accomplished during the first half century of your existence?
If I have a chance, yeah, I would like to know how it's to experience this life with another set of skills and another perspective of life.
Okay. And why do you think some people don't find that interesting?
I don't know. Maybe just they don't live an interesting life, so are not interested to continue.
So I think it would be like such a way to save so much time to not go trying to solve over and over again things that we already did, and from that particular point on being able to focus on to explore new avenues of something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Just experience things differently.
Exactly, that's my point too. So do you think I'm making this whole thing maybe more complicated than it could have been? Do you think there's a way to simplify that?
No, you don't have anything. You don't have an alternative.
I do actually, but not something that somebody can blame me for. I have this hunch that what we go through in life as a program, it has to do with constant belief that that's what is there to be explored or experienced. And some people, even though they can reach the idea of something else, they immediately associate that experience with something that is not necessarily part of the equation when you are going to wherever you're going to go with your mind to solve something. You have a good idea and immediately jumps to your consciousness or to your perception the detail of the possibility or not. Like, okay, yes, it's good. It sounds interesting, but it's not possible. And I say to my mind, but that's not what I'm going for right now.
You're asking if it were possible. So
yes. Do you feel that thing too? Sometimes you think about certain things and you find those thoughts to be interesting, and immediately your mind checks with you and tells you, no, that's not possible. And you are not dwelling with that. And that particular moment, you're just enjoying the good idea. But your mind adds that thing, which I think is part of the program. It has to come. Every time you go there, you're going to find the other stuff. It's like when you're downloading software and it comes with other things that you didn't request. What I'm saying is that I understand that sometimes when we think about certain points in general, existential points related to life, if we could just stick to the enjoyment of the exploration of a good idea, and every time the mind comes telling you, yeah, I understand that you might like that, but that's not possible, you go and say, thank you, I did not request that information at the time, I'm just exploring the new design that I have in my head. I did that a couple of times, and after a while, it didn't really bother me anymore. It doesn't come as often. Sometimes it doesn't come at all. It just let me think about something that, just because I think about that and I don't ask for that particular thing to be more than my thought, it has a layer of logic. It is there. Every time I want to find that particular thought, I find it exactly as it is. It's not confusing. It's clear. So it has an essence. And nobody can tell me that that's not real. That particular thought, as a thought, is real, exists. So I believe That's the possible first step of something that gives you the chance to get a little more texture or more content or more speed or whatever it is that the good ideas need in order to transcend and become something else that will also reflect the goodness of the original idea and become maybe more solid, something you can touch and show. As long as you don't mix in an automatic way the other dwelling scenario where you are actually thinking if it's possible or not. I believe that except for the fact that somebody can tell you that it's not being proved to be whatever we call real, I don't think it's a good enough reason to not keep navigating that after learning a lot of things in life, became that good thing that you need to be in order for you to start really enjoying all the experiences and things that you liked so far and being able to find new ones and all that in a more solid platform you designed by you. I know it sounds something that hasn't been proved, but do you agree that it's a good idea?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, thank you, Pablo.
No problem.
All right.
Greetings. My name is James Hart, Sonic Explorer and Traveler, music producer, and president of Disclosure Records. Well, my immediate response would be yes. As you just very wisely stated, and you actually definitely dropped this knowledge to me many, many years ago, which it's not a rehearsal. This is it. And the sooner I came to learn that in my experience and journey through life, the more bountiful it became. I just remember, man, in my early 20s when we used to walk the hills over to Griffith Park and just talk about intention, like, you want to go grocery shopping? You know, we'll figure it out when we get there. Go with the bag, end up with fucking grapefruits, eucalyptus, dill, every fucking thing we can think of to cook with, and then just stop home and get something. Like, the intention is everything. So if you intend to replenish your soul, your physical, you know, everything involved, I mean, I'm pleased and blessed at this point to be able to be living that as best as I feel like I can at this point, which is living with full intention and honesty in the moment and full transparency about what it is that my intention is and how I feel. So, I mean, thank you for that, wise sir. I think the universe would bless me with, you know, the insight and the vision to be able to see it. Because I didn't see it for a while.
Sometimes, in order to justify a difference, some people say that they didn't choose to be a particular way, or they didn't choose to be what or who they are, as if they were talking about a disease or a characteristic that, if by choice, it could have not be that one. Suggesting, I guess in that way, that they know they are dealing with a condition that is not the best outcome in life, but they can't help it because they were born that way. And now it's time to be proud about it. And yeah, I can understand why the theatrics of that explanation, but it would be hard for me not to also try to render that whole argument obsolete. For starters, no one gets to choose much, really. The experience of choosing is something that is not really clear where does it really comes from, you know what I mean? Just like our personality, desires, and whatever we find in this life, this thing that we call life. Because nobody brings anything here, and through the logical use of our intelligence, we can all agree that there is no recollection. You don't remember anything before this. There is no memories at all before this, before learning how to remember or how to memorize whatever that is in itself.
Okay, here's my answer. Yes. Let me tag that yes with something else. The reason why I said yes is the whole better thing. I think we're put on this planet for to do things better, to be a better person and to make things better. And love another 50 years whatever's next and just keep on trying to make things better. I think that's our job as artists, is to see beauty and just get better and better at creating and, doing it. All right, my brother, I'll talk to you later.
To be continued.